Coming up on Extra Credit, we will meet some superheroes who don't wear capes, but they rescue us, protect us, and help us feel better. Plus, we meet a Marvel writer who actually creates superheroes. Stay tuned. Welcome to Extra Credit, where we meet interesting people, explore new ideas, and discover fun places together. I'm your host, Ben. Today we'll celebrate some people we call heroes, whether they are veterans, healthcare workers, or the kind of heroes who wear capes. First, let's meet some heroes who don't have a Batmobile or a Batcave. Instead, they have ambulances and hospitals. Who are these heroes? Paramedics. No matter what the emergency is, they'll be there to help us.
Hi, my name is Josh and I'm a helper. I'm very proud of my job because I help people when they're injured or sick. I'm a paramedic. I'm trained to care for people who have been in accidents or are having a medical emergency. My team and I then take them to the hospital in an ambulance or a helicopter to be examined by a doctor. Paramedics can be located at a hospital, fire station, or other rescue organizations, but you'll most likely see us out on the road or around your neighborhood. Oftentimes, we work together with other helpers like police officers and firefighters. When I go to work, I wear a uniform, so you know I'm there to help. My uniform looks like this. Some important parts of my uniform are my name tag. This tells you my name. My patch, which tells you where I work, and my badge. It lets you know that I have special training to help in case of an emergency. Paramedics like me use many important tools in our jobs. One of the most important tools is my ambulance. Let's go check it out. My ambulance looks like this. It has lights and sirens, like a police car, to let people know that we're coming. My ambulance is very big, so that we can carry lots of tools and even people. I have a lot of space in the back of the ambulance so that we can sometimes take people to the hospital after an emergency. A few of the tools that we use most often are the oxygen mask, which helps us give oxygen to patients who need it or are having difficulty breathing, just like this. Another important tool that we use is our med bag, which has lots of Band-Aids, gauze, and other medical equipment to help us treat injured patients. And the other important piece of equipment that we have is the stretcher, which is kind of like a rolling bed. It helps us roll people to and from the ambulance who can't walk. I do many different things at my job. I get to know the people who live in my neighborhood. I assist people after an emergency and help people get the medical care they need. You might see me in lots of places. I help people in their homes, on the road, and in buildings like stores and schools. In an emergency, I may need to ask you some questions like, how are you feeling? Or where are you hurt? I might also ask you to explain something that happened so I know how to help you. You can help me by listening to my instructions and answering my questions. I like my job because I get to help people like you. If you see me, you could say hi or wave to me. I love to wave back. Paramedics like me are important helpers in our neighborhood. So what's my job? To keep you safe. What's your job? To be safe.
To meet other helpers in our neighborhood, go to meetthehelpers.org.
Our next heroes are veterans. Veterans are people who have served in the military, in the Air Force, Marine Corps, Army, Coast Guard, or the Navy. An organization called Stiggy's Dogs teamed up with a group of kids to show their appreciation for veterans and their service animals. Take a look.
If you guys will remember, we learned about Stiggy's Dogs and what they were doing to help veterans, especially veterans who had served in Afghanistan or in Iraq. And we had learned about how they were taking animals from the Livingston County Animal Shelter and how they were pairing them with vets to make their lives a little bit better.
I'm Beth Molnar, and I teach English Language Arts and Social Studies to our team, Team Awareness. We teach 4th grade here at Navigator School. And
Catherine Potoff, and I teach the math and science to the entire team here at Navigator Upper Elementary School.
Priscilla Homan approached us about a 9/11 grant, and so we got together over the summer, Catherine and I and Priscilla, and we came up with a plan for the grant, and we were granted the grant. And so part of the grant was to make fanny packs for the veterans and bandanas for the dogs, so that when the dog and the veteran were matched up, they would have something matching together. And the kids were really, really excited.
The projects that the kids have come up for us, making the fanny packs, making the bandanas, all of those things can be utilized, not just for our training for our veterans, but also it helps spread the word. Anything that gets people talking is a good thing. If my dog is wearing a bandana that says I support Stiggy's Dogs or I love Stiggy's Dogs, people want to know, what is Stiggy's Dogs? Anytime I'm wearing a shirt, the same thing, I'm getting asked about it. What is Stiggy's Dogs? So again, that all leads to education, and that really is the key. We are named in honor of our director's nephew, Benjamin Castiglione. He was killed in action in Afghanistan in 2009. And as a way to keep his legacy going and to continue to take care of his Marines, as he called them, we started Stiggy's Dogs.
What we really do, the basic core and essence of us is we rescue dogs from different shelters around the area, and we pair those dogs with veterans that have PTSD or TBI. So, you know, our motto is rescuing one to rescue another, and that is the truth of that. I love working with Pinckney Schools. This has been the third or fourth time that they have brought us back, and I really believe that, you know, education and perception starts with our youth, and they're just very patriotic here. They came up with this great idea about the fanny pack and bandanas, which work perfectly within our motto. The fanny packs are great because when they first start training, you know, they'll need them for some treats or to have, you know, doggy bags in them.
We set from the very beginning a tone that we are involved with the community service projects. Service learning is a huge aspect of our team. And so before we took on the project, really with the students, we spent some time going over the website, talking about Stiggy's Dogs, and so we talked a little bit about what service dogs can do for humans.
Our dogs are trained for a number of tasks. The biggest one obviously being the dog caring about the emotional state of their handler. That is a 24/7 job. They have to monitor that handler whether they're awake or asleep.
And it really segued nicely into our service project with Stiggy's Dogs. So the students were really invested right off the bat in thinking, how can we help people who've given so much service to our country? It was a really nice fit.
anything with animals and especially dogs, there just seems to be this genuine draw to be an active participant.
And it was really amazing to me that many of the children really took the time to plan out and really think about what they wanted to say. And we talked about how this is a gift to a veteran from you, and it really needs to look nice, and it really needs to mean something.
It felt really special to make these for people who serve for our countries. I hope it goes to someone good who needs one.
They just have such a simple way of understanding and appreciating, what military and veterans do or have done. So just to see, their little hands, doing this little artwork and all these little pictures and the words they put on there, you wouldn't expect a lot of them to understand that, but they actually do.
This is my bag, and it says Stiggy's Dogs right here. It's got a little doggy bone and then doggy footprints and some stars, and then on the top it says, "Thank you for your service." It has dog prints and USA and a bunch of stars.
I don't know, I guess when I look at this, and I think of the students' artwork, and I see little dog bones, and I see stars, and tiny little paw prints at the top, it makes me smile. And I guess if I were a vet and I'm reaching in every day for a little treat for my dog, I'll be thinking that some fourth grader made this for me. And I guess you just can't help but feel good about this. I get really teary when I think about it. It's just so sweet.
And they really put time and energy into each one of their artworks that they did, and just seeing the pride that they had as they were showing them to us, that just fills my heart with joy. Oh, I love the bone. Look at that. Wow, beautiful.
Children want to give, they want to feel like they're productive, they want to show how much they really truly care. And that's why we're here. We need to help them find ways that they can give back to their community. And I think art is an actual pretty much an easy way for them to do that, because Really? I was pleasantly surprised how many children had artistic flair and ability.
I put a bone up here and for like the treats and stuff to go in. And like I put paw prints and I said a man's best friend. This is my card. It says thank you on the front, and then I put a flag.
They really took some time and effort on the thank you cards to the veterans. So, I mean, that's that's a different avenue for artistic expression. So the kids maybe that weren't as good as at the fanny pack maybe did a really fine job on the card that they made, or vice versa. So it was allowing that medium of art to come out in several different ways.
It might start out as just something as simple art, but the meaning behind that and what it turns out to be was so much more. And you take this project, for example, we got to sit and talk with kids, and they got to ask questions with our veterans and to touch these dogs, and they got to learn about service dogs. So even though it was just an artwork, it transpired into so much more.
I guess when we have it on the dog, I've had him with me all the time, and I can see it all the time, and I see what somebody's done and he's wearing it. It lets you know that you're not alone. You know, somebody else is. They understand why you have this dog, and they understand the things you went through.
For what our military do for us and the freedoms that we're allowed in this country because of them is so important to instill in them, especially at this early age. I think it's what makes our country great.
I feel great giving stuff to people that once helped us in the Army, and I feel great giving them stuff back in honor.
They may not fully understand PTSD, but understanding that there are people out there that need that extra bit of help. You never know what a person's dealing with.
I believe that art is a great therapy, and in trying to, like with service dogs, we're using that as one form of therapy. You know, there are all different alternative types, so seeing that the kids are doing this with art and seeing how that is also helping, I think that there's a great way to combine both. Thank you guys for bringing that awareness and making this come full circle.
You know, spreading the word about what we've done, just a small project, maybe that will spur on other teachers to do service learning projects. There are so many things out there that you can do.
You guys were so creative. Seriously, there was so many cool things. I just have tears in my eyes. This was wonderful.
Believe it or not, thank you means so much to these veterans. It really does. We'll be out training and somebody will come up and, oh, are you a veteran? And they'll say yes, oh, thank you for your service. And you can see this change come over them, and the pride that they have that somebody took the time to recognize, and to see children recognize it too. It's just awesome.
Dear veterans, I want to say thank you for all of your service to our country. Thanks to you, I don't have to worry about anything bad happening to me in my country. I am grateful for how you have kept my country and me safe. Now I don't have to worry. Your friend Bella.
What about the heroes who are always there in the nick of time? Fire managers. Our friend, Jenna Lynn, also learns about the tools firefighters use and the safety precautions they take in the field. She also meets hero Persephone Whalen, who is a U.S. Fire Management Officer.
Hi, I'm Jenna Lynn, and today I'm here with U.S. Forest Service Zone Fire Management Officer Persephone Whalen. Persephone, tell me, where are we today, and what do you do?
We are on the Baldwin Ranger District of the Huron-Manistee National Forest in Michigan, and I am the Zone Fire Management Officer for the U.S. Forest Service. The U.S. Forest Service uses what we call prescribed fires as a tool to help the ecosystems here. Prescribed burning is basically putting fire down on the landscape using a prescription.
Why are prescribed burns needed?
Without fire, we start losing really essential plants and animals. With fire, we start seeing them return again. Okay, so on this side is where the person in charge rides.
Really?
Smoke management is a big deal when we have prescribed burns.
Dispatch, this is Engine 611 with Miss Persephone and Jenna Lynn. We are currently on our way. If we're curious about careers, I'm excited.
A tool that we use to manage the smoke on this is convection. Convection is the lifting of all of that heat and energy going straight up into the air that pulls all that smoke from what we've set on fire and hits into the transport winds and gets it out of this area here. Today we're standing here in a prescribed burn that we did 4 months ago. This burn was about 600 acres.
What kinds of tools do you use?
We use all different kinds of tools. So this is Nomex fiber, and when heat or flame touches it, it chars. This is also Nomex, even though it's not yellow, it's green. Every firefighter has to wear these on the fire line. This is my favorite firefighting tool. It's actually called a drip torch. As you turn it, it drips fire on the ground. Another tool that we carry that we hope not to use is the fire shelter. If a firefighter is trapped, we pull out our fire shelter, climb inside, and lay down on the ground until the fire passes. It's all you, come on out. There you go.
Persephone Whalen got me all fired up about wildland firefighting. Explore your possibilities.
What better way to express yourself than to create your own emoji? Here's an activity to teach you a cool new way to draw faces with a range of emotions. For this activity, you'll need pencils, paper, an eraser, and anything you want to use to color.
Really excited for today's class. We're going to be drawing emojis. Think about all of the emojis that describe you and just the person that you are. You can see here in the background several emojis that would perfectly describe me, but I want you to be thinking about yourself, but also how you're feeling. So you could definitely just start off with a nice brainstorming session, such as this, where you just look up some different emojis and then fill your paper by drawing a bunch of different ones that describe you and your likes and just words that would describe you, or feelings, or any other things that you have that would represent who you are. Then after that, let's divide up our paper with kind of like 4 different sections here. And we're just going to start this with a sketch with pencil and paper. And from there, I want you to think about your week. Think about what has transpired, what has happened in the past week that has led you feeling some kind of way. And then from there, let's pick an emoji that kind of describes that. So you can see here, I have a few different ones. And if you have a lot of different feelings or emotions that you want to represent, feel free to divide up your paper into more sections than just the 4, but it can be good to just focus on just a few that really stand out from your week, just a few feelings. So I have picked kind of a nerdy kind of emotion, I guess, where I just got really, really into the work that I was doing. Then I picked a silly one because I think that it's important to have some silly moments throughout the day. Then I picked one that, to me, this little one with all the teeth showing is kind of an awkward kind of face, where you're like, ooh, what just happened? So I love that emoji. I use it a lot. So that is one that I think describes me pretty well, because I tend to have some awkward/embarrassing moments sometimes. And then the last one I picked is a sleepy emoji because, I felt pretty tired at some point this week. So think about the emotions that you have been feeling. Make sure that you're really being honest with yourself. This is a good exercise that you can do when it's hard to maybe sometimes always describe how you're feeling in words. And instead, let's just describe them in something that's kind of fun, like an emoji. Okay, and then after you do that, of course, add color and make it however you want.
Now, this kind of hero makes us feel better when we're sick. You guessed it, I'm talking about doctors. Let's meet a real doctor and learn a couple tips to make your next visit to the doctor's office a whole lot easier.
Hi, my name is Dr. Carr and I am a helper. I am very proud of my job because I get to help you feel better. I am a doctor. My job is to help you feel better when you are sick or if you get injured. I'm going to tell you a little more about how doctors like me help. When I go to work, I wear scrubs or a lab coat. They have these great pockets to hold all of my tools. You may also see me wearing gloves. Don't worry, gloves are just to make sure we don't spread any germs. I have a lot of other tools to help you during a doctor's visit or a medical emergency. Let's check them out. When you visit me, you may be in a room like this. A few tools that help me with my job are an examination table or bed. This is a little different than the beds or tables you have at your home. This allows you to sit up high so I can examine you. My stethoscope. This lets me listen to sounds in your body like your heartbeat or your breathing. My otoscope. This helps me check your ears and your nose. Doctors also use many different kinds of medicine to help you feel better. In an emergency, we might not be able to talk right away, but I want you to know that I will make time to talk with you and your parents to explain everything. When we talk, I may need to ask you some questions like, how are you feeling? Or where are you hurt? I might also ask you to explain something that happened so I know how to help you. It is okay to tell me that you feel upset, hurt, scared, or angry. I like to listen to you, and you can tell me the truth. You can help me by listening to instructions and by answering my questions. The hospital may seem scary at first, but everything we do here is to help you. If you have any questions about my tools or our plan to make you feel better, you can always ask. So what's my job? To keep you healthy. What's your job? To be healthy.
To meet other helpers in our neighborhood, go to meetthehelpers.org.
Next up, this comic book writer uses his comics to encourage people to think more about social problems. Ready to meet him? Let's go.
Saladin Ahmed, this has been a very exciting time for your work. Comic fans know you as now the longtime writer of Miles Morales, but now this year you branched out to 2 other Spider-Man series, and you just launched Copper Bottle, your subscription service for indie comics. Spine-tingling Spider-Man, brand new, first issue just dropped end of October. Yeah. You're writing 3 different iterations of that character. What makes this one different?
I've always loved Peter Parker. I've grown a very powerful relationship with Miles Morales, writing him the past few years. But of course, Peter was the Spider-Man I knew growing up. And to me, he's always been at his most inspiring when he's got the toughest odds against him. And then the fact that horror stories, which I also dabble in a lot, are really about the odds being against you, sometimes overwhelmingly, right? And that's where the sense of horror comes from. I went to Marvel and basically was like, I really want to do a horror book featuring Peter Parker, and they were very supportive of it. I've lucked out extremely by getting the artist Juan Ferreira, who's just astonishing talent. And that's the thing that we always have to talk about when we talk about comics is art, makes the comic. I can have all the ideas in the world, and it's just an idea until somebody draws it. And Juan took the thing to another level. It's super important to me to talk about the world around us, even whether I'm talking about aliens or elves or vampires. I'm still talking about our world in our time. And I think we have a responsibility to do that as storytellers. We're part of a larger world, and dire things are happening in that world right now to a lot of people. And if we don't talk about that stuff as much as we're able to in the arenas that we're able to, I think we're falling down on our duties as human beings.
In Abbott, the way that page 1 of that comic is Abbott breaking the story of the police killing of a black teenager. It really hits home to our world now.
Abbott was my first creator-owned comic, and it's the story of a female black journalist in the 1970s working at a white newspaper. And it's a story about race, it's a story about gender. As much as anything, it's a story about Detroit. I'm from Dearborn, right? I'm from an Arab enclave in Dearborn, from an immigrant community there that raised me. But I was always raised with a love for and respect for Detroit. And also, I was raised with an awareness that Detroit had been slandered. the kind of predominant narrative in the suburbs was sort of, oh, Detroit's so dangerous and it's fallen apart. It used to be great, and it's a transparently racist sort of take when you strip away just a layer of kind of why people felt that way about Detroit. And so, you know, to me, one of the most important things writers do is to expose lies and tell the truth. It's why I made a journalist the hero of my story rather than a police officer or a detective. On the one hand, Abbott is a fun, scary story, hopefully about a woman using magic powers to hunt evil wizards and a darkness that is haunting the land. But it's also very much a story about the history of Detroit and about the way in which Detroit in the 70s, even as people were saying it was falling apart or was going to the dogs or whatever, was a place of renaissance, of true cultural renaissance, of emancipation.
Thanks for sticking around and learning about some of our real-life heroes. Now, here's something to think about. What kind of hero would you be? Think it over, and who knows, maybe someday you could be a hero like the ones we met today. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope to see you guys next time.
This program is made possible in part by Michigan Department of Education, the State of Michigan, and by viewers like you.